And it was certainly a good investment, because if you have this, in the Constitution you have the right to bear arms, and a lot of people are buying arms, and if you need to look after your pension, it's a good investment. I just wonder what took the Americans so long. We had done Blaine, and we acted very swiftly. So finally, thereafter, I don't know how many, a school or a supermarket shooting, finally there seems to be some action.
And is it encouraging to you to hear that Barack Obama, or is it surprising perhaps that Barack Obama has enlisted Joe Biden to put this task force together, and we're talking about January as having those proposals?
It's a good thing, and it's a good thing that he is on his second term, because he can now go for legacy. If he had to get re-elected again, the National Rifle Association, with Charlton Heston as one of their, big icons, is so powerful that it would be very hard for any politician who wants to get re-elected to do anything. So it's probably a good thing that he's in his second term and can now start to think about legacy.
Has a little bit of more freedom, perhaps.
Now, South China Morning Post focuses on the new president of South Korea. South Korea elects its first woman president, so says the headline. Turnout highest in 15 years. Turnout of 75% despite the freezing temperatures. They were keen for change in South Korea.
Yeah, they were keen for change, and she's an interesting lady. Her father was a very autocratic president, but he turned.
He's described as a dictator, isn't he?
Yes, exactly. But he turned the South Korean economy around. Her mother got assassinated, and she was then, when she was 22, de facto first lady for 5 years. So the woman grew up in politics, then was very quiet and went and stood for parliament. So it's going to be very interesting to see what she does and how she brings the whole country along, because the southeast of the country did not really vote for her because they're sort of much more progressive there.
Person of promise. I mean, obviously she's got to deliver a lot. And interestingly, when you say about her dad and what his role was, this article talks about the fact that quite a few older voters probably voted for her, hoping she'll be able to do the same thing for the economy that her dad did in previous years.
Yeah, exactly, and she will probably be able to do quite a bit. The other thing is, she's probably not a bad person to talk to the North Koreans, because so often the more conservative people or the more hawkish people are the ones who can reach some agreement. Look at Begin and Sadat in Israel, Egypt. So maybe that's a good thing.
Your first job, or one of your first jobs, was at UBS.
One of my many first jobs.
Was it UBS, wasn't it?
Was at the Union Bank of Switzerland, where I sort of looked at country risk for Asia. Yes, that was.
So what, I mean, you've obviously got a view on what's happening with UBS, because 24 hours ago, Sally, we were breaking the news that UBS is going to pay the price, as the Financial Times says, for this epic scandal. But what's interesting is, one of the quotes on here says, "Make no mistake, for UBS traders, the manipulation of LIBOR was about getting rich." It doesn't exactly endear it, does it, to the public?
No, it's out in the old Union Bank of Switzerland. UBS is now United Bank of Switzerland, which is Swiss Bancorp and Union Bank of Switzerland that merged. It was a very ethical company with great credit culture. I learned all my credit training there, which was a fantastic place to learn credit training. But traders are greedy people, and you need to have very good controls.
Some traders. We can't cast aspersions on all of them.
How do you think, Cornelia, because being a Swiss lady and starting in banking as you did, I mean, how do you think this story affects the image of UBS? Obviously, the image has been affected greatly, but the image of Swiss banking, does it have any sort of spillover effect or not?
Swiss banking has had its share of problems. I mean, it's the scandals. You had LTCM that made it necessary for UBS and the Union Bank of Switzerland, SBC, to merge. You also have the whole row of private banking over private banking and the banking secrecy with Germany, with Britain, with the US. So yes, Swiss banking has been under a wee bit of pressure over the last few years.
I imagine it's not going to go away anytime soon. Let's talk about France, because competitiveness is now the issue that France faces. This according to the International Herald Tribune.
Competitiveness has been the issue that France has faced over the last 2 decades, and they're right. They need to address the issue of the workers' councils and the inability of firing people in order to restructure, companies. But I think it's quite rich of Monsieur Hollande, because if you tax everybody that could invest in your country at 75% and have everybody leave, well, it may just not be the way forward.
But perhaps, I mean, as you say, the view in this report done by Louis Gallois, who's one of the leading industrialists in France, and he was asked to do it by François Hollande, says you have to relax the labour market. If you don't, in the next 10 years, it could lead to the destruction of 750,000 jobs.
Absolutely.
Their market share and everything just goes downhill.
If not more, because it is so hard to restructure companies in France because of the labour laws.
There's a way to describe England, this green and pleasant land.
Wet and windy? Wet
and windy is another way to describe Britain. But all the rain that's in the UK now is a good thing, apparently.
It's a very good thing, and as I'm Swiss, I'm also British, and I'm so proud that we have such a green and pleasant land.
So, hopefully, they say there are going to be no hose pipe bans. This is when we're not allowed to use our hoses in the gardens to water our gardens in the summer. We shall see.
So we won't be betting on a white Christmas then this year?
I would bet on a wet Christmas.
Well, I think in Scotland there's we've just seen there's some peaks where we get a little bit of white.
Talking of peaks, let's quickly mention this mountain in France and this village in France where thousands of people are gathering because it is the one place in the world where you will avoid the apocalypse, because apparently Martians will take you away and save you.
Yeah,
aliens.
Plans for travelling there for Christmas? No.
No.
It's quite serious.
It would be nice to go and explore Mars.
It's a serious thing for this village.
Well, they've actually, with this village in France, the authorities have actually issued permits, so you're not actually allowed to enter this village unless you have a permit now, because so many people are going to be flocking there. What do you make of this? Do you like these stories?
It's rather silly, and if I look at it, we had a sort of apocalypse when Lehman collapsed. The financial system as is ended. So I think we've had enough apocalypse. We can now very happily and forward-looking look into 2013.